Good evening and welcome to Fridays Live with me, Raj Nayak. This evening I have with me a very dear friend. She's an actor, she's a producer, she's a politician, she's hosted shows, she's been judge on TV shows. I mean, there's nothing that she hasn't done. She is my first guest from South India. Let me welcome Khushbu Sundar.
Hi.
Khushbu, thank you for being with me here this evening.
Pleasure, Raj. Always a pleasure to be with you on any board, any platform.
Yeah. So I'll quickly tell you what this show is about. It's about people whom I met in my life who've inspired me some way or the other, whose journeys have been inspiring, and also some people whom I haven't met. And those people will also be coming on the show. It's not just that people whom I have met. And your journey has been very inspiring. You have done over 200 movies. Okay, you had different things. And what is amazing about you is that you also speak up. You speak up on issues and things like that. So I thought it'll be great to have you on the show today. So I'm going to start by asking you about your childhood. Where were you born?
Born and brought up in Mumbai, Veera Desai Road, Andheri West. That is where my home, my official address was for a very long time. 16 years of my initial years, to be precise. So that was my address. But then we moved to Chennai in '86. So I'm more of a Chennite now. I'm more of a Madrasi, like the Bombay walas would like to call us. More of a Madrasi and a true-blooded Madrasi for that matter. And I love being a South Indian now.
That's nice. I mean, so you're also an Amchi Mumbai person who's now in South India, and
Yes.
I'm a South Indian who's now in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So okay, quickly. So and when did you start acting?
Raj, I was very young. I think I was 8 years old when I did my first film as a child actor. It was it was just an accident where I was casted in The Burning Train by Ravi Chopra uncle. And it was Hema Maliniji's mother, Jaya Chakravarti Ma. We used to call her Mami Ji. I don't know, we used to be very regular at Hema Ji's place and knew Hema Ji. I used to watch her do her dance rehearsals or do her makeup. So Mami Ji one day asked me, cinema mein kaam karega? And I was like, if they give me an ice cream a day, yes, why not? So she spoke to Ravi Chopra uncle, and Ravi Chopra uncle made sure that I was given my quota of ice cream every day. And I grew up sitting on Ravi Chopra uncle's lap, watching, all these stalwarts. And that is how my journey has been.
That's very interesting. And so what was your connection? I mean, how is it, did your parents have a filmy background or something like that?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nobody's from films. I think my older brother, my first brother, he was friends with Hemaji's nephew, Deepu. And I think that's how I used to tag along with my brother when he used to go and visit Deepu and everyone. So that is how I knew Mami Ji and Hemaji. So I think that's all the connection was. And my father was, he used to have a shop which used to do stereo and television and radio repair. So he was a regular person there to do all the repair work of all these television sets and stereos and radios. So I used to tag along with my dad also to their place because most of the time after schools I used to be sitting on the shop. And that is how Mami Ji saw me. And I remember Hema Ji's bungalow. It had a very, very huge helical staircase. And then there were trophies right from the base, right from the floor, 2 floor high because it was double ceiling. And right till the top, all her trophies and shields were placed there. So I used to be very, very fascinated because I used to start counting, and then run on the first floor and then keep counting. And by the time I would touch the second floor, I would forget how many there were. So I think it was very, very fascinating for me to see Hema Ji leaving for shoots or sitting there and eating. So I think it was very, very fascinating.
No, that's a beautiful story. I mean, is the house still the same? I haven't been to a house, so I don't know. Is it the same
No,
house
they've
you're living
broken
in, or
the
it's
house. No, they have broken down the house now. I believe it is Hemaji and then Isha and I think all three different floors for different family members since they have their own families. That is how it is now. I haven't been to Hemaji's place for a very long time because I keep meeting her when she comes to Chennai. So, I mean, I haven't been to her house in Bombay for a very long time. But my childhood memories are those. My childhood memories are me being at Natraj Studios. Then there used to be one of the biggest studios, Natraj Studios. And I remember because I used to be a pet to Raman Sagar sir. I
yeah?
have done a couple of films as a child actor in their production. So Raman Sagar sir, Anand Sagar uncle, Prem Sagar uncle, Subhash Sagar uncle. So they all used to be there. There was to be youth studio, and then the next to that used to be Pramod Chakravarti sir's office, and then Eagle Films, Shakti Samant uncle, his production office. So the studio was filled with production, and some shooting would always happen. And I would keep hopping as a kid. I would keep hopping from Shakti Samant uncle's office to Eagle Films to Pramod Chakravarti. But most of the time, I was holed up in Anand Sagar uncle's office. I used to be there seated with him, and they used to keep feeding me with ice creams. So, and any shooting that happened in Natraj studio, I would land up in Anand Sagar uncle's office room.
So tell me, I mean, you used to watch movies when you were young. Which was the first movie of Hema Malini that you watched? Do you remember? Dream Girl. Yeah, I remember too. I mean, I was in boarding school at that time and we bunked and went to see the movie.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there were films like Sholay made a huge impact on me. Her character, Basanti. So, the way she performed. But then I grew up on Sita Gita. I grew up on Sholay. I grew up on Dream Girl. And I don't know how many times I would have seen Dream Girl only for that song, Dream Girl.
Kisi ki shayar ki nazar.
Kisi ki shayar ki nazar, Meri Dream Girl. And I don't know why, because the set, the camera work, and the way she looked. And I remember, in fact, Subhash Sagar uncle used to have a close-up picture of Hemaji, a black and white picture. And he had framed it and kept it in his office. And she was perfect. I mean, her nose, her eyes, her smile, her teeth, her fingers, and they were just perfect. So I think that's where my fascination for her started. And my first film was The Burning Train with Hemaji. My second film was Naseeb. Again, it was with Hemaji. I was recommended by, again, Hema Malini ji. So, it was like Dream Girl recommending a child artist. So that was a huge thing for me there.
And you said your father was running a shop on TV and things like that. So
yes.
Are you a little bit of an engineer yourself by now?
Yes, I can do fix things. Yes, I can fix, but I mean, I can change bulbs. I can fix the tube lights. I can fix a fuse, all those things. I used to sit and do soldering. So I am a little fascinated about it.
So tell me about your family. I mean, how many siblings are you?
I'm the last. I have 3 brothers older to me. I'm the last in my family, or the only girl.
Okay. So you're last and pampered, obviously.
Yes.
The brothers.
Completely by my mom and my brothers, yes. Especially my last brother. There's just an age difference of 1.5 years between me and him. So we are more of friends. We literally grew up in school days. They used to call me that I am his dumchi. I used to tag along wherever he went. In fact, so much that when we started schooling, he was 1 year older to me in school. And I used to be in my class, but I would literally, crawl out of my classroom and walk in, crawl into his classroom under his bench and hold his legs and keep seated there. Till the teachers came looking for me. So that is how Dumchi I was. And I continue to be the same with him. They all are here. They all are here in Chennai.
Oh, they all moved to Chennai, is it? They're all based in Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they do?
My first brother doesn't work because he was very unwell, and last year he was very, very critical. So we somehow, we were very fortunate that we could revive him, and he's back with us. So we do not allow him to work. My other brother works with me as my finance officer in my office. He has a family of his own. My last brother is into restoring furnitures. Any old furniture he restores, and he does a lot of architect work. So they're all on their own.
And your parents?
My mom is with me. Mom and dad parted ways, so I don't have very great memories or good memories about my dad, not very pleasant memories about him. So in fact, 86 is when we shifted to Madras. That's because he decided that he wanted to be alone, and we were left to fend for ourselves in Chennai. So since 86, I haven't seen him at all. I haven't spoken to him. I haven't seen him. So 34 long years. And I don't regret it. I think I'm happy because my mother is with me. She lives with me. So we all live under the same roof. So I'm very, very glad that my mom is with me.
I just don't know how to react to this. But yeah, I know. I mean, I can understand what you must have gone through. So I don't want to dwell on it more. So tell me, when did you get your first big break?
Okay. In South?
Because, no, I mean, in film, because you started as a child artist, right? So when did you get your first big break? Was it in South or was it in Mumbai?
Mumbai.
Okay.
Actually, I was signed by Boni Kapoorji to be introduced in Prem with Sanjay Kapoor. And, we did pictures with the JP Singhal uncle, and Boni ji actually enrolled me in horse riding, dance class, and health club, everything. So I was training to be introduced properly by Boni ji in Prem with Sanjay. But for some reason, the movie kept on getting delayed. Sanjay was not ready, and they were not able to start the film. I was just 14-year-old, and when he signed me, I was 13. So he wanted to groom me for 2 years. But I think my dad was the deciding factor, and he wanted me to start movies immediately. So he, spoke to Boniji, and we came out of the contract because we had a contract with Boniji. So we had to make it null and void. And then he started signing films right, left, and center. But despite that, I think my biggest offer my biggest film was Janu with Jackie.
Jackie Shroff, yeah.
Yes. I was very excited because, working with Jackie, he being such a big star, and he agreed to play the lead despite knowing that, it was more of a heroine-based subject. But Jackie was very, very understanding and very nice of him to have agreed to play that role. And great memories we had about that film. So Janu, unfortunately, didn't do well. Me and Govinda, we started our careers together in Tan Badan. So that was Govind's first film. And but somehow, again, the films were not doing extremely well. The film which did extremely well was Meri Jung, and I played Anil Kapoor's sister. So for those days, Bombay was like once a sister, always a sister.
Yeah.
So playing a lead, the films didn't do well, but playing a sister to Anil Kapoor, the films did well. And the song, Bol Baby Bol, Rock and Roll, was a huge hit. So then everybody wanted me to play a sister, and I was not game for that.
Yeah.
So, and of course, since Dad was a deciding factor, some wrong choices of the films were made by him because I think it was more about financial status for him, not about the movies. He wanted to know that how much a producer would pay. So he was looking into it as a financial aspect, whereas I was looking at making a career. And there were very big films coming my way. It's like with Rishi Kapoorji, I was to play the lead in Naseeb Apna Apna, which he didn't do it. Then there was another film with Rajnikantji when I was in Bombay, and he didn't want me to do a film, that film. So I missed out on those couple of big films because he was not compromising on the financial aspect. So missed out on those films. But 86 is when I did my first Telugu film because I knew Hindi wasn't working out for me. I was not getting very good offers. and Dad was being very, very adamant about the kind of films I do. So when I said yes to do a Telugu film, uh, Dad was against it, dead against it, that I shouldn't do a South Indian film. But then, जो लिखा है किस्मत में वो होना ही है.
And you went on to rule, I mean, for many, many years.
Yes, I think that was the best decision of my career, because when I decided to do Kaliyuga Pandavlu, my first Telugu film, for me it was like Venki was being introduced in the film, and it was Venki's first film, and it was produced by Suresh Productions, D. Ramanaidu, directed by K. Raghavendra Rao, who introduced Sri Devi to Mumbai. So Bhumi Priya in Mumbai, and the number of hit films he had given. So for me, the catch point was, it's a huge production house. The director was one of the greatest directors, and since they were introducing their son, launching their son, I was very sure that they will make sure that the film is made in the production values in every way. The film will be the best of quality. So I didn't want to miss out that chance. So I said, I am doing it. And I did Kaliyuga Pandavlu, my first Telugu film.
And now you've worked in almost all South Indian languages. So when you moved to South initially, was language a big problem?
Yes, it was a big problem. I didn't know the language at all. None of the languages, whether Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam. I didn't know any of the South Indian language. But then, I mean, if you're here, if you have to survive, then you have to learn. Be a Roman when in Rome.
Yes. So how many languages do you speak now? Do you speak all the South Indian languages, or it's just...
In all, I speak 7 languages.
Which are the 7 languages you speak?
Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, English, Urdu, Malayalam, Marathi, of course.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, one of the things is, I think you're the first actress in whose name they built a temple. And then I've heard about Khushbu Idli and Khushbu rice cake and Khushbu jumkas and Khushbu saris. I mean, is it still there? I mean, is all these things still exist? I mean, it was a big fad at one time.
Yes, of course. I'm still known for my jhumkas. I'm still known for my saris. I mean, I think it's just a phase of your career where you see everything. Where you're loved so much that people go to the extent of building a temple and putting you up on a pedestal and worshiping you. In fact, that actually scares you at times. Because you do not know if you're going to deliver what they're expecting. The expectations are so high. And I believe it's a circle of life. Whatever goes up will definitely come down. So for me, keeping up to that expectation was very, very difficult. But yes, my kids, I mean, for a very long time, my daughters didn't know that I was a big star. I was a very well-known star, because when they were born and they were growing up, I had cut down on films completely. I was just doing television, and that too at my comfort level. And after that, I mean, when they grew up, they saw me as a normal mother, making them, making breakfast for them, taking them to school or bringing them back from school, sitting with their homeworks, all of that. But unfortunately, like we were out, and a couple of fans came over, and they jumped, and they were like, they were so excited. They fell at my feet, and my daughters were completely startled. They called that guy and said, "Why are you falling at my mother's feet? Why are you taking a photograph? Why are you taking a autograph?" And they were like, "Oh, your mother is a big star." So I mean, like, they looked at me and they said, "Are you a big star?" And they looked at, "No, you're mistaken. My mother is not a star. She's my mother. She's not a big star. It is somebody else."
Yeah, but children are honest. They don't hide anything.
Yeah, no, in fact, me and my husband, we have, as a policy, we don't have a single shield or a trophy at home. We don't keep anything. Everything is at the office. We don't keep anything at home, because we wanted them to have a very, very normal childhood. with two celebrity parents, both mother and father, successful and celebrities. We wanted them to have a very, very normal childhood, not to see these awards and trophies and get carried away. So I think that was very important for us.
And what are your daughter's names? You have two daughters, right?
Yes, my elder one she will be 20 this September.
Wow.
Her name is Avantika.
Okay.
And the younger one is 17 plus. Her name is Anandita.
Anandita and Avantika. Beautiful.
Actually, full name is Trishala Avantika. And the younger one is Anmol Anandita.
Wow. Such lovely names. And what does Avantika and
Anandita,
what does it mean?
Avantika is basically about a princess of Ujjain when Lord Krishna was there. So
Okay.
it's about the princess. So since she was born first, she was a princess to us. And I wanted something to start with A, because in school, I wanted her name to be in the first row, not, like my name, it's my real name, Nakat. So it's like way towards in between, somewhere in between in the role. So that's why we wanted to start with A. So Avantika and Anandita means someone who brings joy.
And
Anandlan.
yeah. And then they both stay with you? They both stay with you?
Yes, they both, the younger one just finished her 11th, so she's waiting for her results, and they've already started 12th online classes. The elder one studies in London, actually. She was at Cordon Bleu doing her culinary, but because just before the lockdown, she had fractured her foot, so we had to bring her back. So she has been here since then, and she missed out on her complete academic year because of a fracture, because the final exams were supposed to happen then. But we are glad that she's here with us during this pandemic.
Of course, yeah.
So, but she's waiting. We have a home in London, so she's waiting to go back and spend time, which she thinks that she's very attached to that place. And she says that, since she's independent, she says that it's chaotic. What? She has a term for that. She says something. It's a very. She's saying it's chaotic, but it's perfect for me. So these kids, that's how they are.
I have a phrase which I always keep saying is there's always in imperfection there's poetry.
Yeah.
It's the same something similar. So have they shown any inclination towards acting or the film?
They both have their father's genes a little too much. They both write very well.
Okay.
They both sketch very well. And they both are tall. Like my older one, Avantika, is 5'11", and my younger one is 6'1".
Wow.
My husband is 6'2" plus. So I'm the elf at home. Midget. So when we want to take a family portrait, like I go completely missing. It's only then they have to place a stool for me so that I can stand up on that.
But you didn't mention anything about your husband. I mean, where did you meet? How did you meet?
It's actually he was directing his very first film and I was playing the lead. And we fell in love while making the film, his very first film.
Very bold of him, isn't it?
Sorry, very bold of him. And he told the unit guys that halfway through the shoot, because those days, 25 years back, used to shoot, go for an outdoor and shoot at a stretch, 40 days at a stretch. You finish the film and you come back. That is how we used to work. So halfway through the film, he wanted to tell me another subject, and he used to come to my room, tell me a script till the interval. Then he said, rest, I'll tell you tomorrow, ma'am, and he would go back. Then the next day he would come and again tell me a script from scratch and come till the interval and say, ma'am, I'll tell you next, tomorrow. There's something to improvise. And this went on for 3 days. And then the fourth day I told him, I said, listen, you don't want to tell me a script post interval, please don't come. Better tell me what is going to happen after interval, because I've heard the script thrice, interval tak sun chuke, and after that I want to know what happens next. He said, kal pakka main sunata hu, ma'am. And in the meantime, he went and told the unit members that he was in love and he wanted to propose to me. And the unit was very young, you know. The artist, of course, it was myself, Jairam, a very great actress, Manorama Achi, and a lot of other actors were there, well-known actors. Uh, but otherwise, the unit, the cameraman, the director, the producer was a first-time producer. So it was a very, very nice unit. So we used to keep playing cards or keep playing cricket or, keep sharing music, those kind of things. He went and told the unit members that he's in love and he wants to propose. And everyone else in the unit, like the cameraman, the photographer, they said, "Pagal hai, tu pitega. Aaj teri pitai hone wali hai. Either the movie is going to get stuck halfway through, or she's going to walk out of the film. दोनों में से कुछ एक होने वाला है. तू पीटेगा या पिक्चर आधे में बंद पड़ जाएगी." He said, "नहीं, लेकिन अगर अभी नहीं तो फिर मैं कभी नहीं बोल पाऊंगा. Try करना चाहिए." And he had the guts to come. Actually, we were sitting and talking. He came to my room, and my aunt was with me. And my aunt said that she always used to travel. She said, "Beta, she's on the terrace." So he came came to the terrace, and we were generally talking. And out of the blue, he said, "When we have children, who will they look like?" And I was like, "What?" He said, "No, tomorrow when we get married, we will have children. So who will they look like, you or me?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, are you trying to propose me?" And he said, "Oh, I have to propose. All that is, I don't know. I've never done this before." He said, "Okay, but just imagine there's a rose in my hand." And he went on his knees and he said, "Will you marry me?" And
oh, that was so nice.
Yeah, but
So romantic.
I didn't take time. I just looked at him and I said yes. There was something very, very honest about him, because he was not talking about, let's understand each other, let's get to know each other. फिर कल क्या होगा सोचेंगे देखेंगे. He was talking about a family together, at the very start. So there was something very nice about him. So I immediately said yes. And here we are. It's been more than 25 years since we have been together. Officially,
yeah, God bless. Yeah.
Years. Before that, we were together for 5 years. So life is great.
Yeah. We can actually make a movie on your love story. You can write a script. This is such a beautiful story. How the director on his debut gets to marry the lead actor.
But Raj, I mean, everyone said that this relationship will not survive even for a year. Ek saal bhi nahi jodi rahegi. They will break up. Of course, we have had a fight. We broke up. We came back together. Nobody, even when we got married, nobody gave us even a year. They said, "Ek saal mein chhut jayega. Inki jamegi nahi." Because we are poles apart. Poles apart. I am complete, South Pole. He is a complete North Pole. I mean, we are such pole apart.
Yeah, but opposites attract, right?
Completely, I agree to it. And when I see my husband, I'm like, why did I fall in love with you? We don't have anything in common. But I think love is blind. And I must say, he is the most wonderful thing that has ever happened to me. The best decision of my life was I said yes to him.
That's same thing with me and my wife. We are poles apart, but but like I said, opposites attract. It's 30 years and we have been married. So, and two daughters, same thing. We also have 2 daughters.
Exactly, that's the best thing about it. I mean, what you like, your partner won't like, but yet you're together.
Yeah, we have silly things like the AC in the room. I mean, she's like it sleeps like an Eskimo. She wants it cold, and I don't like it too cold. So, but we manage and we survive.
Yeah, it's like we are eating something, and I will be like, "Wow, kitna tasty!" And then I look at my husband. He'll be giving me a look. I said, "You don't like it, nah?" He's saying, "Nah." I said, "No wonder I like it."
And you do you have a pet?
Oh, we had 5. We lost 2, but we still have 3 pets at home. We all pet lovers. So we lost 2 of our German shepherds, and we also lost our pug. So they were with us for like 14 years, 15 years.
Very tough. It's very tough when you lose them. Yeah.
We have a Dachshund, Snoopy. He's the old man now. He's 9. And we have a Labrador. He is 4. And he is my elder daughter's pet. I mean, he sleeps with her. He's all over her. And he literally sits and starts crying if she's packing her bags.
So when she goes to London, then who looks after him? I mean, you all are there, of course. Yeah, but still.
Come in. He will stay out. He'll come up, look at me, play with me, have his calciums. He'll go back, sit outside the house. He won't come inside the house. He'll come, look, go to her room, go into the bathroom, check if she's there. She's not there. He'll sit, cry for a while, and then go outside the room. Then we have a golden retriever who's 2 years old. And my husband, though we name him Kulfi, my husband calls him Tsunami. He is a brat. He can't be quiet in one place. He will be here, right here, trying to see what I'm doing. He'll be all over my place.
So you have Kulfi, you have Snoopy, and what's the third one?
Leo.
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 So they're like Snoopy Sundar, Leo Sundar, Kulfi Sundar. They all have accounts. They have Instagram accounts.
Oh, I should get my dogs to follow them. Both my dog Meredith, she's got an Instagram account, and my grandchild, my daughter's dog in the US, Golden Girl Mila. So I'll get them to follow them. And they can follow it.
I have one German Shepherd, but she's at our farm. I mean our beach house. Her name is Nila.
Nila, okay. My daughter.
Nila.
How do you
Nila means Nila ka matlab Tamil mein Nila ka matlab hota hai chand, the moon.
Okay, okay.
So we call her Nila, but she's at the beach house. But she is my pet. I mean, I keep talking to her over video calls, and I have not been able to see her for the last 4 months. Oh. And I'm so sad that 4 months I have not been able to see her. She's grown so much, and I keep talking to her over these video calls, and she keeps reacting to me. She
sits they keep shaking their.
No, she sits and starts.
Their ears go up, yeah.
And she has the sharpest ears. They go straight. German Shepherd, absolute straight. One long face, and then her ears are like this. And the twing, 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 twing. She keeps doing that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, especially unconditional love, and that's in these kind of times, having them around. I can't even think what would I have done at home if Meredith was not there. Because beyond a point, they are big stress busters.
Yeah, total stress busters.
Yeah. So when did you decide to get into politics?
I decided to get into politics sometime in 2007.
Was it something that was on your plan, or it just happened?
No, in fact, from many parties kept on asking me to get into politics, but I was not keen because I thought politics is not my cup of tea. But then I had a problem in 2005, which of course I won the cases in Supreme Court in 2010. But sometime in 2007, I started wondering that somebody like me, who's strong, who's successful, who's financially stable, could go through so much of problems where people do not understand. And there were 2 political parties who wanted to, get a name for themselves, wanted to prove that they're the saviors of Tamil culture and Tamil Nadu. So the kind of problems I faced, what if it is any other common person? I'm sure no other woman would have been able to handle the problems the way I did.
What exactly were the problems? I mean, can you elaborate a bit?
Yeah. A column for India Today in 2005. And the cover story was about HIV AIDS, where in Tamil Nadu, then in 2005, Namakkal was one district where we have a lot of these truck drivers coming in and going. Namakkal was the epicenter of HIV, and how women, in those areas, it was the disease was transmitted by the men, but the women were blamed and they were thrown out of the houses because if the woman was infected with HIV, if she was positive. So I was writing a column saying that how you have to take a lot of precautions if you are involved in premarital sex, or if you're going to a sex worker. You have to save yourself not only from HIV, but any kind of sexually transmitted disease, and you have to protect yourself. You have to use a condom. And it was a column which I was writing. And political parties, being political parties, they picked it up saying that I said women of Tamil Nadu are not pious. So I said, listen, this
They twisted it, yeah. They twisted the whole thing out of context.
Yeah. And when I said that if you're involved in premarital sex, they placed it saying that I said it was fine to indulge in premarital sex. So, I mean, there were like 46 cases filed against me in Tamil Nadu for the same charges. And 23 of them were quashed here, 22 of them were quashed here by the High Court. But then for the rest of the 24 cases, I had to go and knock at Supreme Court's door. So I fought the cases for 5 years. It's only from 2005 to 2010. I fought the cases, and finally in 2010, April, Supreme Court actually quashed all the cases, and it came down very heavily on these people who had filed the cases against me. So this journey actually made me think that probably if I have a political platform, I'll be able to voice my opinion and will be heard more. But then I was very sure when I spoke to my husband about it. My husband was like, if you join any political party and if you win the cases, they're going to say that you had used the power of being in a political party. You win your cases because this is your battle. You win the cases and then join the political party you want to. So I waited from 2007 to 2010, 3 years I waited. I won the cases, and only then I went and joined DMK.
That was your first, obviously it's a local party. It's a...
In fact, I was doing a lot of shows for Jaya TV, and people thought that I will be joining AIDMK. So I took everyone by surprise when I joined DMK.
Why did you choose DMK at that time?
I don't know, I've been living in South for so long. I thought that Dr. Kalaignar was a much better leader. He could take a decision. He was accessible. People could reach out to him. And watching both the governments for 36 years, 34 years, I've been watching both AIDMK and DMK government. I always thought the DMK government did a much better job than AIDMK. And over a period of time, Madam Jayalalitha had become very arrogant, and it was all about her. So I somehow didn't appreciate him. Even the people around her were like trying to dictate terms. Since I was working in Jaya TV, I was doing shows for them. So I could sense it, I could feel it. So I didn't want to be part of that atmosphere. So I joined DMK. In fact, when I went to meet Dr. Kalaignar when I wanted to join the party, I told him that I want to meet you. He said, please come. I went and met him and I spoke to him. I didn't tell him, he was a CM. I didn't tell him that I wanted to join the party. I just told him that I'm planning to come into politics. So then he gave me, all the do's and don'ts, and the way you have to conduct yourself being in political party, any political party, and what politics is about. It's not a bed of roses. There are going to be a lot of humiliations. There are going to be a lot of barriers. There are going to be a lot of hurdles. You need to be really, really thick-skinned. And what are the norms? How you speak on the stage? It's completely different than what you talk normally to people. So, he was explaining it to me, and then finally he said, so, you're going to join AIDMK, because that's the impression everybody had. So he laughed and said, see, you're going to join the other party, and I'm giving you all the lessons here. And I said, no, I am joining your party. And he was like, what? I said, yes. He's saying, I was always under the impression that you are a AIDMK sympathizer. I said, no, I really like Madam Jayalalitha, being a woman. I really appreciate the way she has come up in her life, and she has acquired a position. But when I look at it politically, I don't think my ideologies are going to match that party's. My ideologies are more with your party. And that is how I joined DMK.
And then you made the switch to
Yes,
Congress.
after 5 years. Uh, Everybody keeps asking me, why did I quit DMK? And I always say that nobody is going to gain anything by, trying to figure out why I quit DMK. Just that my mom taught me that if you feel there's no respect in particular place, move away. So that's what I thought. And I thought that my integrity, my respectability was far more important than anything else in this world. So I quit DMK. I waited for 6 months, and then I joined Congress.
Yeah, you are one of the most articulate spokesperson for the Congress Party.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm part of that party because there's so much of democracy. In fact, people thought I am making the wrong move because I joined DMK after 2014 elections when our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji had won majorly. BJP had come to power, and Congress they thought Congress is a sinking boat, and they said, "Why did you jump into a sinking boat?" I said, it's not about sinking boat. It's about what your ideologies match and what you believe in. My schooling, I was brought up with the complete ideologies of Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose and all the other leaders we have read about and studied about in our school times. So my ideologies have been with Congress. I have been, when we were in Mumbai, I have seen my entire family voting for Congress. So it's been with me. I've seen Sushil Kumar Shinde ji when he was part of the Juhu area. He was I don't know what position he was in, but I used to see Sushil Kumar Shinde ji there in Juhu. And I grew up on Indira Gandhi. I grew up on Rajiv Gandhi. So that stayed with me. So it was very natural for me to make a switch to Congress.
So tell me, who are the women leaders who have inspired you?
Okay, it may sound cliched, but I think the one leader who has inspired me the most was, of course, Indira Gandhi. Iron Lady, with all the wrongs and the rights what Margaret Thatcher did. I still appreciated Margaret Thatcher because I thought she was one of the strongest women leaders we had ever seen.
Yeah.
Of course, I have always appreciated Jayalalitha as a woman. When you look at her history from where she started, from movies to relationships, then the humiliation before becoming the party head in AIDMK, all that she went through, and then finally coming to a position where men are in awe of her and they literally fall at her feet,
Yeah.
and nobody dare say a word when she's around. I mean, it takes a lot for a woman to bring herself to that position. So I've always admired her for that. And of course, very recently, I think when you look at New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, I think she's one person who is, again, she's not scared to show her emotions. It's about breaking into a jig. It's about showing her emotions, getting angry, or a tear, or a laughter, or a joke in the times of crisis. She shows it all. So I think these women really inspire me.
She's as real as you can get. I just read recently that she and her husband went to a restaurant and it was full because of the social distancing, and they were turned away. I mean, just imagine something like that in our country.
They don't take that as an insult.
Yeah.
So that was the best part. In fact, I was looking at one video where I think Boris Johnson was somewhere, and somebody's lawn, and this man walked out of the room and he said, "Can you please step out of my grass?" And
I saw it too. And he apologized.
Yes, and he said sorry, and then they moved away. So
Yes.
nobody takes it personally. They don't have these stars attached to them where they carry as a baggage, that they have to be treated differently because they're the prime minister or because they hold a powerful position in our political field in the country.
Do you see something like that ever happening in our country?
I doubt, Raj, because the thing is, our leaders are made on power of people where they start worshipping them. that becomes difficult. Then that's why I don't want to sound political, but I'm sorry, but that's why you say blind bhakt. You're right or wrong, they just follow you blindly. I mean, even with Congress, with my own party, I say that if you're wrong, please accept you're wrong, accept the criticism. We don't have to be speaking about everything because we are in opposition. Opposition does not mean that you have to oppose everything. And because you're in power does not mean that everybody has to say yes sir to you. I mean, we have to learn to take criticism, which unfortunately we feel that if we are in a powerful position, if we are elected by the people, then you can rule the world. Then it's everything has to be yes sir, yes ma'am kind of an attitude. And immediately you see you'll have 10 people around you, all that, you know, to do odd works, odd jobs for you. So I think we need to learn to be as real. We don't become real. There's so much of unbecoming your own self that you get carried away, which, you know, unfortunately I don't see it happening in India. We did see it when there was a very great leader in Tamil Nadu called Kamarajar, the man who actually changed the complete outlook of politics in Tamil Nadu when Congress was ruling Tamil Nadu. He was the last Congress CM of Tamil Nadu. So I think, you know, the way Kamarajar, a chief minister like him, when somebody would tell him that we can build a party office and it's going to cost you 5 lakhs. And he called the collector and he said, how much will it take to build a school? They said, sir, we're somewhere on 3 lakhs. He said, okay, add another 2 lakhs and make a school. I don't want an office. I'm fine an attached roof office room. I don't want it. And a CM like him, when he died, he just had 2 pairs of dhoti, 2 pairs of kurta, 1 pair of chappal with 134 rupees in his pocket and nil bank balance. Yeah. They don't need those leaders anymore.
Yeah. I hope there are many more people like you who think this way. Politics can change, and we need more authentic people. And for the viewers who are watching this, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a small story, small incident. 5 days back, I messaged Khushbu saying, you know, we have this call happening on Friday. So can you connect me to your secretary, or can you connect me to your social media person? And she said, I am my social media person and I am my secretary. Tell whoever you want to tell to connect with me, or you can reach out to me directly. There's nobody, I am the person. And that's how real you can get. And Khushbu, I mean, I thought the people should know this because that's who you are. And this morning I saw a tweet from you. You spoke about that father and son who were brutally trashed by the police in Tamil Nadu. And you've always been speaking up. Where did that courage come from? Where does it come from?
I think your own struggles, when you're fighting your own demons, you know, that courage comes in. Until unless you don't speak the truth, I don't think I'll be able to sleep well. For me, it's very important that I have a peaceful sleep when I go to sleep. So if there's something which is disturbing me, and if I don't voice my opinion on that, either with a lot of honesty and integrity, I don't think I can sleep well. Yes, this death of father and son in police custody disturbed me a lot, because in today's time we still see these kind of things happening, and we're talking about progressive world. I think of late we have been moving into a regressive mode. There's no progression, and you know, the thoughts, the mindset. We still have honor killings. We still have people talking about you know, black and whites, people talking about racism, people talking about caste and religion. Where are we heading is what my mind says. Are we not supposed to leave everything behind? Even after so many years of civilization, we are still talking about color world over. We saw what happened in US. I mean, we all speak up when there's one when elephant who died, unfortunately, a pregnant elephant. We all spoke up. We all speak up when something happens. But when a brutality of this level happens, we all want to be politically correct. We all want to, you know, hide, because you don't want any trouble, invite any trouble. You never know how it's going to change. They might change it into a political clash, or they might change into a very casteism clash. So these things keep happening. So and let me be very honest, it does happen in Tamil Nadu. We see it every day in the newspapers. We keep getting to read about it. So I thought it was very important that I speak, because losing one family member, a father, is a big blow to people. And here a wife loses her husband, a mother loses her son, both at the same time. Two earning members of a family, and they have been arrested. The charge sheet, they have not been proved guilty, yet they don't come back alive. They die in police custody. Yes, there has to be an inquiry. The people who are involved, no influence, no political influence should work here. I think the guilty should be punished immediately.
Yeah. So we are running out of time. So it's so nice speaking to you. I want to ask you one thing. If you had to speak to all the people who are watching today, and in today's gloom and doom world, if you had to give out some positive message to bring in some positivity in this world, what are the things you would like to say?
Stay strong first. Very simple policy of mine, which me and my husband, we both follow. In times of crisis, just remember, this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent. Even your problems are not permanent. I must say, Sushant Singh's suicide was very disturbing, because here you had somebody who had everything going well for himself, and suddenly he is not among us. So I couldn't sleep, for a few days. And my husband said, "Why you didn't even know him? Why is it disturbing you so much?" I said, "I don't know. This is something which disturbs me, because you just can't, take your own life. Life is to be celebrated. And you can celebrate life only if you see the ups and downs. Only if you see the fun of roller coaster ride. Only then, the minute you go down, only when you're going up, there's a thrill in it. So why do people take such decisions? So that disturbed me a lot. So all I want to tell people is, life is beautiful. Just work a little harder to make it beautiful, and enjoy every moment of your life. All the lows as you enjoy all your ups. And it's just that you have to work a little harder to spread love, positivity, happiness, and if not sympathy, at least show some empathy.
Before you go, I just want to tell our viewers, thank you very much for watching, coming week on week and watching the show. If you like it, share it with your colleagues, spread the message, so that week after week, we have more and more people coming and tuning into this show. It is, like I was telling Khushbu, people have asked me, why don't you make it recorded? Why don't you make it slick? Why don't you put videos and photographs? And one of the things I think that is missing today is authenticity. And that's why this show is all about being authentic, about being real. If there are goof-ups, there will be goof-ups. If there's a technical hitch in starting, that will be there. But that's what life is all about. You have to be real. You have to be yourself. You have to be real. And that's when you will relate to people. Please watch. If you miss it on Facebook, you can also go to YouTube at Raj Cheerful with a double L. There's one question, Khushbu, I want to ask you before you go. This is, I ask all my guests. I don't know whether you know, 2 days back, I launched India's first tool to measure happiness quotient.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called happiness.me, HAPPY, happiness.me. I mean, you can Google it and you'll get to know what we do. So I asked this question to all my guests because now that I'm planning to spread cheer in this world and bring some happiness to people I work with, what does happiness mean to you? How do you define happiness? And if you had to say 3 things that makes you happy, what would that be?
For me, happiness is all about life. I love life. And I love living my life to the fullest, with all its ups and downs, lows and backfalls. For me, happiness is struggling my way back up to the top. Happiness to me is my family, my friends. And happiness to me is I'm always smiling. My husband says I smile even when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, that's true. And you got the most beautiful smile,
You. So
infectious. Yeah.
I think that is what happiness to me is. Yes, of course there are moments when I'm very low, but then it's very easy to bring me back. I get happy immediately. One talk, one word, or I just have to think about my daughters and I'm like smiling again. So I think I'm just a very happy person.
And you just mentioned when you think about your daughters and that makes you happy. Yeah. I was
Very
just going
happy.
to ask you a question. What is it that you do to make yourself happy sometimes when you're feeling low? Thank you so much. It was a lovely, lovely conversation. And as always, you never disappointed me. You are as real as one can get, and wish you all the very best. Have a great time. And hopefully, when all this is over, we'll meet in flesh and blood.
Definitely, Raj. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you, Khushbu. Thank you so much.
Done. Bye.
Bye-bye.